SR93 Boxing back with a quick video. I was watching some of Fight Hype's videos where they were interviewing Danny Garcia in the press conference for Samuel Vargas, or whatever his name is. And most of the questions were about Keith Thurman because no one really knows too much about Samuel Vargas, even if he fought Errol Spence. And yet, no one gives a fuck about him. Because, Danny Garcia is supposed to win the fight. And Keith Thurman versus Danny Garcia is a fight that people wanted to see for a long, long time. And he's talking about it. He says he's going to do it. So that's where the attention lies. Danny Garcia says Keith Thurman is not the best fighter that he's fought. He says, and I'm paraphrasing, but he says pretty much the same thing, that he goes, Amir was a way better fighter than Keith Thurman. And Lucas Matthysse was a way more dangerous fighter. Like Lucas Matthysse, he says he was knocking guys out, or he had the reputation of knocking guys out with one punch. And, Amir Khan, obviously he's a silver medalist and he's one of the most talented fighters in boxing. And he says Keith Thurman is not on their level. I mean, not on Khan's level at least. He kind of said Amir Khan is a better fighter than Keith Thurman. That's literally what he said. And this kind of cracked me up because, not because I don't agree with him, I do agree with him. Amir Khan is a better fighter than Keith Thurman. Go hate on me. Keith Thurman's never faced a puncher. And if he faced a puncher, there's no guarantee that he will be on his feet. There's no guarantee that if he faces Canelo, he would not get knocked out. If anything, he will get knocked out. Who knows if he won't get knocked out if he fought Maidana. Even the Maidana that fought Khan. Keith Thurman forgets that Amir Khan, when he fought Prescott, was 21. And Prescott was a big puncher. 17 knockouts out of 19 fights. Keith Thurman never faced a puncher. Yeah, Sean Porter has power, but he's not a puncher. Robert Guerrero's not a puncher. Diego Chavez was not a puncher. They have power. They have some power, but they're not punchers. So for Danny Garcia to say that, I agree with him. And a lot of fighters gonna say, oh, what are you talking about? Amir Khan's no way a better fighter than Keith Thurman. Keith one-time Thurman. Right? Keith one-time Thurman, every time I've seen him fight, he's a great fighter. He's a really good fighter. He can do a variety of different things. He can box on the outside. He can bang, kind of. He has power to bang. He's not a pressure fighter. Yeah, he can apply pressure here and there, but he's not a pressure fighter in the sense. But he can do a variety of different things. But every time I see Keith Thurman fight, the way the commentators comment, especially on PBC, Teddy Atlas, for fuck's sake, hypes up Keith Thurman. I remember watching Keith Thurman and Luis Collazo fight, and it's like, hey, all this shit. Can you see the power of H bombs and all this shit, man? All this. What was else was he saying? Oh, Keith Thurman. He not only has power, he has speed and movement, total package. Like, yeah, he's fighting Collazo, who, he said, when Amir Khan fought Collazo, he said, oh, over the hill Collazo. But then you fought Collazo after Amir Khan, and he looked like shit doing it. So Keith Thurman, I always thought is a great fighter, but he's overrated. How are you gonna put Keith Thurman over Danny Garcia in terms of their capabilities when you haven't even seen Keith Thurman against the type of oppositions that Danny Garcia faced, or the type of oppositions that Amir Khan has faced throughout their careers? Keith Thurman not fighting Errol Spence. Keith Thurman versus Errol Spence right now would be like Khan fighting Peterson at 2011, when Khan did fight Peterson, and Khan fought Peterson in his own hometown. These guys are calling out Khan saying that he's ducking, but the thing is, Khan has taken those type of chances. Right? He has taken those type of chances. Keith Thurman hasn't. Keith Thurman is a made champ, a made paper champ. He didn't really fight for anyone for that title. I mean, it was a vacant title, wasn't it? If anything, does Floyd Mayweather still have the real one? I don't even know, to be honest. But either way, he's a paper champ. People forget what Amir Khan was like, and Danny Garcia beat Khan, yo. Keith Thurman never knocked someone out with one punch. Keep in mind, Lucas Matthysse, when he fought Danny Garcia, was coming off a knockout, and he dropped Peterson in like 2-3 rounds. And he dropped him hard with one punch, I think, and he got up. But Keith Thurman doesn't drop people like that with one punch that often. And Keith Thurman's in the bigger weight division. And this is another thing. What's the difference between Amir Khan and Keith Thurman? what is the difference between Amir Khan and Keith Thurman? In the ring, Keith Thurman has more power. That's kind of what people tend to pick out the most. But other, people say, oh, Amir Khan and what do you call it? Amir Khan has speed, but everything else is better with Keith Thurman. No, power is better with Keith Thurman, but everything else is better with Amir Khan. Khan, you could say his chin, but you could say about Amir Khan's chin, but I'll make a video on the Amir Khan's chin, right? But the way I'm gonna say this, until Keith Thurman faces a puncher like Amir Khan faced punches, like Danny Garcia faced punches, like Sean Porter faced punches, because Sean Porter faced Keith Thurman, right? Sean Porter faced one puncher in his career, but still, until he faces a puncher, I'm not gonna sit there and say judge his chin like that, because he has yet to face a puncher. Who knows, if Amir Khan did not face a puncher, will he get knocked out? Maybe. I don't think Amir Khan will get knocked out if he never faced a puncher like Keith Thurman never faced a. Keith Thurman never faced a puncher, and if Amir Khan decided to do that, I don't think he'll get knocked out. That's what I think. I don't think he gets stopped at least. So, and Amir Khan is able to take punches to the body better. You saw Canelo was hitting him with loads of right hooks to the body. I don't think Keith Thurman will be able to handle that. Keith Thurman either will be able to handle, apart from the speed, Keith Thurman cannot control range as well as Khan. Khan's ability to control range is way better than Thurman. His jab is way better than Thurman's. His movement is way smarter than Thurman's. His counter punches, I think, is underrated. He can counter. He can counter pretty well. I saw him countering Luis Collazo better than Thurman did. I saw him counter Devin Alexander better than Thurman did. Devin Alexander is kind of hard to time. It's not the hardest to time, but it's a pretty difficult one to time. So, Amir Khan does have a lot more. I do think Amir Khan will beat Keith Thurman if he does fight. It'd be a 50-50 fight, that one, because Thurman has that power. But this one, I always thought Thurman was overrated. I've been saying this because I like to give credit to people who's taking chances, who's fought, and if they do lose, I still have respect for them, unlike most boxing fans. Right? So that they don't duck other fights, so that they don't go into the future ducking. Amir Khan, if he got credit from these fans, those two-faced fans, the fans are crazy. They hop from dick to dick. They're on one fighter's dick who's really good. Then they hop off his dick, go on to another person's dick who has the hype written all over him. Keith Thurman right now has the hype written all over him. He has, in my opinion, not really backed up all of his hype. He has beat Porter, and that's a good win. But Danny Garcia has fought better wins. Danny Garcia has better wins. Danny Garcia has faced a puncher. Danny Garcia has faced a puncher. Are we right or not on that? He faced Kendall Holt. He faced Lucas Matthysse. Amir Khan's not a puncher, but he was hurting guys. Everyone he fought before, the 5 fights before he fought Danny Garcia. He hurt Paulie Malignaggi. He hurt Maidana more than once. He hurt Judah before, and you could say the knockdown was bullshit, but before the knockdown, he hurt Judah to the face. He kind of hurt Paul McCloskey, although that wasn't one of his best performances. So he hurt Peterson. He hurt Peterson more than Peterson hurt him. So, but when he goes to Danny Garcia wasn't hurt. Judah turned up, and Judah kind of hurt Danny Garcia, but Danny Garcia never wobbled. Judah in round 8, up to that round, he hit him with the best punch of the fight, from him. And Danny Garcia just it looked like as if Danny Garcia wasn't even bothered and just dropped Judah instantly. Danny Garcia, he's solid. He's a solid fighter. Keith Thurman is going to be exposed for a hype job. And you fans need to understand, they need to respect people, respect the fighters that fought people. Look at their track record. Stop pretending like you got dementia and thinking, oh, what have you done for us lately? Right? You haven't done shit for many fighters lately. That's why these fighters are ducking. Right? So this is the thing. When he says, so to sum all this up, when he says, because I've been mambling on a little bit, but when Danny Garcia says Amir Khan is a better fighter than Keith Thurman. Yes, he is. Lucas Matthysse was a more dangerous fighter than Keith Thurman. Yes, he is. Yeah, Keith Thurman is not Lucas Matthysse. He's better skill-wise. He has better speed. He has better movement, but he's not as tough as Lucas Matthysse. He's not tough as Lucas Matthysse to the head or to the body. And that's kind of what I have to say. I'll be back with more videos very soon.